The New York Giants were just embarrassed at home in their 100th season celebration. And is anybody surprised anymore? No, I'm not. I'm numb. I'm broken. This franchise has officially done it to not only me, but to a lot of Giant fans out there. We're not even angry anymore. We're not angry anymore. We're not shocked. We're not surprised. This team has become the laughingstock of the National Football League. And just 15 to 20 years ago, this team was one of the most prominent franchises, and it still is. It's just had the worst patch it's had since the Dave Brown era in the 70s. This franchise has become the laughingstock of the NFL. As long as Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the New York Giants, this team will continue to be laughed at and continue to be mocked because this guy looks completely lost. He has actually gotten worse from his rookie season 6 years ago. 6 years he's been on this team. $140 million later, he's been on this team. And I'm not going to go crazy about the contract because at the time, it was the right decision. In hindsight, we're all geniuses. But at the time, the contract was the right decision for Daniel Jones. That's why they gave him the 2-year out. But the problem is, we didn't think 2 years later we'd be screaming for him to be off the team again. Now we're at the point, we're stuck with him for the season. The Giants are never going to be taken seriously until he's off this team. Whether he cut, bench, I don't even know if benching would do it for the fan base. This guy has to be gutted off this team, eat the money, start Drew Lock, have DeVito as your backup. And I'm not the biggest DeVito fan, but at least DeVito gave you something a little more exciting than this guy's ever done in his entire Giant career, including winning a playoff game on the road. This is the sick part about this. That feels like it was 20 years ago that they won this playoff game. Yesterday's game against the Vikings, if you're a Giants fan and you're trying to be optimistic about the season coming up, realistically, you're thinking the Vikings are one of the few teams on the schedule at home that you have a shot to beat. That could be one of the wins with the Giants win total set at 6.5. Maybe this is one of the wins that you could account for and have the Giants beating the Vikings at home. Every single legend the Giants ever had was at this game for the 100th year celebration. The jerseys, say what you want about the jerseys. I thought they looked okay. Jerseys aren't that big of a deal. The Giants have one of the best jerseys in football. But you got Sam Darnold coming back to MetLife Stadium where he was whisked out of here quicker than anybody that you could imagine. Sam Darnold lights up the Giants yesterday. 80% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for a guy who just does nothing but throw interceptions. You couldn't even pressure the guy yesterday. I don't want to get out of whack. I'm trying to keep a level head for this video. We'll start with the big elephant in the room. Again, Brian Daboll takes over the play call, and we'll go from top to bottom because that's how beautiful this team is. Brian Daboll takes over the play calling, and it looks like Joe Judge came back and took over the play calling. There was a sequence on offense in the second quarter. It was still 7-3, or it was 14-3, something like that. But the Giants were at midfield. And Brian Daboll on 2nd and 4 calls a quarterback run with 5 wide, a quarterback draw up the middle, gets 2 yards. Okay. 3rd and 2, calls the same play, quarterback draw with Daniel Jones. You have Malik Neighbors, you have Wan'Dale Robinson, you have Darius Slayton, you have Theo Johnson, you have Singletary in the backfield, you have Tyrone Tracy, and you're running back-to-back quarterback draws with Daniel Jones. This is what is Joe Judge back? I can't take it. Brian Daboll is going to lose this fan base quicker than this fan base fell in love with him after that first season. The swagger of Brian Daboll is officially gone. He's become a coward when it comes to going for it on short yardage situations at midfield on 4th down. He doesn't remember. I don't know if he's coaching scared because he did it last year too. He did it last year when the Giants had opportunities on 4th and 1 at their own 49 when 20 teams in the NFL do it every single week. They just go for it. They don't think about it. They come up with these dynamic plays that the Giants haven't been able to run for years. It's so frustrating to watch this team play on a weekly basis and to now know that the season is over after 1 week. All right? I don't want to hear woe is me. I don't want to hear just stop overreacting to week 1. The season's over already. This is the same garbage we've been watching for 10 years. Different faces, same garbage. The Giants just can't get it right. They're in purgatory. They are officially in purgatory. They can't find a coach. They can't find a quarterback. They can't find the correct coordinators, to the point where we don't know what the hell's going on anymore. This is the laughing stock of the NFL. The New York Giants, one of the most storied franchises in football, have become the laughing stock of the NFL because of what's going on here. It's pathetic now to watch this. First drive of the game yesterday, Giants get the football to start. 3 and out, right away. Bang, there it is. Whatever. You want to call it rust, you want to call it whatever. They punt the ball. First defensive possession, Dexter Lawrence gets a sack. There's that pass rush we were looking for. Let's go. We get the sack. Perfect. Rookie Drew Phillips played very well yesterday. One of the bright spots I could count on my hand yesterday with this team. Rookie Drew Phillips forces a fumble. Giants get the ball at the Minnesota 20. And just like we all thought, they can't get it past the 10 and have to kick a field goal. That was the time the Giants lost this game. At home, 100th year anniversary, you get the big turnover, you get the big sack, you get the ball on the opponent 20, and you can't score a touchdown. That's where the season was lost. That's where this game was lost. And this is where I am done. I will never defend Daniel Jones to anybody. I tried so hard for years to tell people he's got the talent. He's a smart guy. He could do it. You know, it's just a matter of I know he's a one-read guy. There's a lot of one-read guys in this league that are just in better situations than Jones, that are thriving. But no, Daniel Jones, he's not a one-read guy. He can't read at all. He can't read at all. There was an instance yesterday. I lost it. He avoided a sack, and when there was one-on-one coverage on the right side of the field, he had the opportunity to launch the ball deep. Just throw it up. Who cares if the guy just throw it up? Maybe you get a flag. Maybe the guy makes a great play. Just throw it up. Who cares? I'd rather see a deep ball where he takes a shot one-on-one and a defender just makes a good interception. I'd rather see that than him take a sack again and again and again and again because he has no pocket presence. He sucks. There's no words for this team anymore. There's none. They can't get out of their own way. They're in purgatory. This is what happens when you're a fan of a team and your team's in purgatory. You're witnessing it now with the New York Football Giants, a team that used to be coveted for free agents to come here, a team that players would demand trades to get here. Eli Manning forced his way to New York. Players sign here because the Giant Blue, the history of the Giants. Now you have to force people. You have to overpay people to come here. This is the type of franchise it's become. You're overpaying Kenny Golladay. You're overpaying Nate Solder. You're overpaying free agents. Olivier Vernon, Snacks Harrison. You're overpaying all these guys to get here. When did it get this bad? When did it get this bad to the point of non-competitive football? I don't remember. I've been a diehard fan at my age. I'm 33 years old. I've been a diehard fan of this team since 1999, 2000. And I saw it right off the bat. I saw success. They get to the Super Bowl, although they got their asses whipped in the Super Bowl. They got there. Kerry Collins was a good quarterback for those couple of years. And then I saw Eli Manning for 16 years. Spoiled rotten, because I watched success. I've seen 2 Super Bowl victories. I've seen 2 of the greatest playoff runs in NFL history. I saw everything early on in my lifetime. And now I'm not able to handle all this, the decades worth of purgatory that they're going to be in now. And it all started with drafting Saquon Barkley 2nd overall. It all started with drafting Saquon Barkley second overall. I love Saquon Barkley when they drafted him. I wanted Saquon Barkley when they drafted him. But that's where the problem started in hindsight. This defense generated no pass rush yesterday. Kayvon Thibodeau, again, another guy. Kayvon Thibodeau is another guy that I'm defending every single year. Another guy that I just cannot defend anymore. I can't do it. I won't do it. I can't. Kayvon Thibodeau never wins one-on-one. Never wins one-on-one with a above-average offensive lineman. Never. When I go back and I watch it, he never wins one-on-one. He's manhandled by tackles in this league. Manhandled. To the point where he looks like he's still in college, that he can't win one-on-one. Kayvon Thibodeau gets all of his pressures against guys who belong in either the practice squad or guys who didn't even get drafted, undrafted players. He does not do good against anybody that's of decent amount of quality in this league. Brian Burns. They traded draft capital to get him. Paid him $150 million. One pressure yesterday. One pressure from Brian Burns yesterday. What's more to say? There's nothing more to say for this team. This team is broken. This franchise, not the team. The team's already been broken. This franchise is broken. The ownership is lost. The coaching staff is lost. The general manager might be in over his head. The quarterback's been lost. I like this. I like the skill position guys on this team. I do. I don't think they just don't have the guy to get them the football. And it's to know that the season's over now already is very, very disheartening for a team that has always been competitive. Always competitive. If they play like they did yesterday and they continue to start Daniel Jones, I'm going to tell you that they will finish with a top pick in the draft. Top 2 pick in the draft. Minnesota lost. At Washington. If they don't win at Washington, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they don't win at Washington next week, there are 6 straight opponents that the Giants will be favored by, will be underdogs by at least 5 points in the next 6 weeks after that. If they lose to Washington, we'll play the game. If they lose to Washington, they're 0-2. At Cleveland, loss. Home for the Cowboys, loss. At Seattle, loss. Home for the Bengals, loss. Home for the Eagles, loss. Barkley might run for 400 that day. At Pittsburgh, loss. Let's say they play Washington again. They beat them that time. Now they're 1-8. At Carolina in Germany. I don't know what Germany did to deserve this. But at Carolina, let's say they beat Carolina. They're 2-8. Bye week. Tampa lost 2-9. Dallas lost 2-10. Saints lost 2-11. Ravens 2-12. Falcons 2-13. Colts 2-14. At the Eagles to finish off the year. The Giants might finish this season at 2-15, 3-14, if you want to be optimistic. If you're going to be bad, be bad. Go 3-14. And I'm at the point, every Giant fan should be this way. I'm at the point now, I don't care what happens to anybody anymore. I don't. Fire Shane. Fire Daboll. Fire them all. Bring in Belichick. Who gives a crap anymore? Something has to turn this franchise around. None of us are geniuses. These guys have gone to their positions because they know football. They know more football in their pinky than any of us will ever know in our entire lives. And don't be one of those people that says you could GM the Giants, because you can't. You just can't. This team needs something to turn it around. They might not have it in-house. They might not. But it has to start with benching Daniel Jones now. You cannot start him against Washington next week. You cannot start him against Washington next week. The fan base will revolt. Fans already waited outside of the stadium to yell at Daniel Jones and scream at him. This is how toxic this fan base has gotten. And I don't blame those people. They pay God knows how much money for tickets. God knows how much money you charge for a soda and a beer and a hot dog at the game. Fans have every right to just to show their frustrations, and you can't tell people they can't. As long as it's not violent. Don't throw anything at it. Don't be Cleveland and throw things at people. But this has got to stop. This franchise is broken. This franchise is in purgatory, and I don't know if Bill Belichick will bring it in to turn it around, but Brian Daboll is starting to look more and more clueless as the weeks progress with this franchise. And so is Joe Schoen. All right. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much. Like, subscribe to it. I could see there's probably going to be a lot of these videos this year. A lot of these rants, a lot of these raves, and maybe the Giants, maybe I'll put out a 2025 draft video soon with the Giants drafting first overall. Thanks for watching.